All right, YouTube, welcome in. I wanted to talk about today. We're doing a live breakdown of 10 plays from the game, the Michigan versus Ohio State game that occurred this past weekend. We're going to talk about them. We're going to go through them. These are plays that I think really kind of helped contribute to the victory for Michigan, plays that occurred where there might be a mistake that was made by an Ohio State defender or an Ohio State offensive player that really helped solidify the victory for the Michigan Wolverines. And I know that probably a lot of Buckeye fans don't want to hear that. What we're going to take a look at is this is a RPO design play. And McCourt's supposed to be reading the backside backer. That's number 23 for the Wolverines. That's Michael Barrett. He's supposed to be reading him. If Michael Barrett shifts to his left, then he is going to pull the ball and throw it backside to Marvin Harrison Jr., who is supposed to be running what looks like a 5-yard in route. And if Barrett stays home, then he's going to go ahead and just give the ball off to Trevion Henderson. So as the play progresses, here's what I want you to notice. What I want you to watch is I want you to take a look at the alignment of Johnson, number 2 here for Michigan on the defense, the cornerback. I want you to watch what he does, because as the ball is played, he takes an inside track inside of Marvin Harrison Jr. and he beats his guy to the spot, and that's why the ball's intercepted. To get a better look at it from the end zone view, that's why I've stopped real quick. You can see here, there's Johnson. We get Barrett shifting, so that's why McCourt pulls it, but he gets beat. Marvin Harrison Jr. gets beat to the inside, and when you watch it from the side view, I want you to notice, I just don't like the route. Now, I got to caveat this because some jackass will be saying, oh, you're saying Marvin Harrison Jr. is a bad receiver? No, I am not saying that he's a bad receiver, but on this play, it's just not a great route. It doesn't really shake the corner out of his spot. The corner is inside shade. He is already to the inside. You've got to get him off of that. He is inside of you. You cannot let him be inside of you if you're going inside. Why? Well, that's what happens here, right? So we get inside, not really fighting through that, getting cut off. You can't do that. And that's why there's a pick. Okay, so that's just not a good play overall by Marvin Harrison Jr. Okay, it's the right read by the quarterback, but just not a great route on the backside. Now, maybe McCourt shouldn't have thrown the ball. Maybe he should have, when he pulled it, seen and gone, oh, well, never mind. I can't throw this ball and then just run. But regardless, you gotta have some responsibility as well, and that's just not a great route. So we're gonna go fast forward in the game here. Okay, this is a big critical moment. It's a 4th and 1. It's the second 4th and 1 of this drive. All right, it's the second 4th and 1 of the drive, and we're gonna have what happens here be that Michigan is going to go ahead and they're going to run play action to Loveland, number 18, who's right here. Okay, he's going to leak out. We got Roman Wilson who's going to come across, and he is going to act as the person to get in front of the safety. Now, the safety, number 6, Sonny Styles, he is the one who's supposed to have Loveland in man coverage, right? So because, remember, we have an exchange what's going on. We have Roman Wilson is the number 1 receiver to the outside. Loveland is the number 2 receiver. All right, so Styles right here, he is over the number 2 receiver. Cornerback's over the number 1 receiver. That gets flipped. And so what happens is that Styles, who's got to fight against the pressure, step up because they're thinking it's run, he's going to step up. He's going to engage with Roman Wilson and then have to fight through all the mess. So let's go back real quick so you guys can see that, right? We get the play action fake. Everybody's selling inside zone. Styles has to fight across. He's going to run into his own teammate. And it's a good design for what many offensive coaches would call a rub. Defensive coaches call it a pick. But it allows Loveland to get outside ahead of Styles, and it's a first down. Okay, so this was a big play, right? It's the difference between a potential score and getting the ball back, and they used the aggressiveness of Ohio State against them. Good play design right there. Okay, next play. We've got the touchdown to Roman Wilson. And I'm going to be bluntly honest. I think that should have been called as an interception, guys. I think it should have been called as an interception. I don't think that there's any reason it shouldn't have been called an interception. But when they said it was stands, if it had been called interception, it probably would have stayed interception. If they called it touchdown, that's why it stayed touchdown. So what we're going to have is I want you to focus on one player and one player only on this play. Because Roman Wilson, he is going to run. He's going to come in motion. He's going to run basically an over route. All right? But what I want you to pay attention to is our safety right here. Okay? Make sure I got his number right. And that's number 25, Malik Hartford. Okay? Now, Malik, I want you to watch. Malik's going to turn because he sees that J.J. McCarthy's getting ready to throw the ball. And if he doesn't turn, then it definitely should have been knocked down an interception. But let's go ahead and watch it. Remember, we're watching. He turns, and the ball goes right by him. And you'll see it from the end zone view. Much better view of it. Now, again, I personally think that's an interception, but I'm not the replay official. But watch the end zone view, okay? So Malik is looking right at JJ. Okay, he's looking at him. And he starts turning because he sees that Roman Wilson is right here running by, and he's like, oh, crap, I got to stop him. So he turns, and we're just going to go back a little bit. Remember, I just said, well, imagine if he doesn't turn and he just keeps his eyes on him. But because he turns, the ball's able to fit between him. Roman Wilson, again, I think that number 10, Burks, is able to get the ball out of Wilson's hands. But they don't see it that way, unfortunately for Ohio State fans and for Ryan Day. But I think that Burke got it out of his hand. They just don't call it that way, okay? But, I mean, just look at it. Look at how close this was. We'll go back a little bit. Imagine if he doesn't turn to go with the ball, to go with Wilson. I mean, this ball, that ball should be picked. There's no reason that ball should be in there, but it is. And unfortunately, it's ruled a touchdown, and that's why. Okay? So we're kind of going rapid fire. Usually I do a deeper in-depth one, but for our purposes, I'm just going through kind of slowly. Like I said, we have 10 plays to go over. So for you guys, I am just doing this because I want to kind of go over these 10 plays. Okay? So what we're going to have, let's go to the next play that I want to talk about. This is a quarterback counter with Orgy. All right, we're going to get a jet sweep action. Carry out the fake as though we're running the jet sweep. We're going to run quarterback counter back to the other side. And you're going to see that the entire defense for the Buckeyes, I almost said Buccaneers, sorry, Buckeyes, they're all flowing with the action of the jet sweep. This makes it a little bit easier. Let's just see here. This makes it a little bit easier for the Wolverines offensive line. They're all down blocking right here, down blocking, climbing up to here. You're going to get a pull around, kick out, block, and then the quarterback just follow up. And because everybody's gone with the motion, all he has to do is find the hole, and then he's going to get upfield. It's a big, nice game. Let's go ahead and go back to it again. Rewind. Again, we're going to get a pull by our left guard, left tackle. They're going to pull around, lead up, bang, inside the hole, get upfield, go. It's a good play, and this led to a field goal, right? This led to a field goal for the Wolverines, and you're just slightly out of position. Eichenberg, number 35, does a very good job at trying to fight back, but because he had kind of gone with the motion, he's just a hair behind. Not a real great block by the Michigan lineman on him right here, but because he went too far with the motion, he's not able to make the tackle and make the stop. Okay, so then we're gonna go forward. It's now 17-17. This is a 2nd and 9. Guys, these are just plays that I wanted to go over because I think these were plays that kind of led to moments in the game that allowed Michigan to win. Okay, so we're going to get a 4 verts kind of look, and J.J. McCarthy sees that the coverage has dropped off enough that he's then just going to dump it off to Barner, who's going to get almost 20 yards. And I know that a lot of people have started making basically checkdowns be a bad word in college football because one group wants a certain player to win the Heisman, but this is the correct decision by a quarterback, guys. This is a totally correct decision by the quarterback, right? We're going to get the snap. 1, 2, 3, boom, drop it off. And Barner's just going to go ahead, get a nice gain, get him down to the 22-yard line, and that's where the touchdown's going to occur, right? And I want you to focus right here on number 22, the linebacker for the Buckeyes. And you'll see it from the end zone view, especially. He is the one who kind of gets himself out of position. Okay? That is Steel Chambers. He is going to scrape over because Corum is pressing to the right a little bit. Chambers is going to kind of press over to his left. And because of that, he's actually going to open up the gap. And when he does, unfortunately, number 6, Styles, he is not quick enough to come up and make the tackle on Corum. So let's just run the play so you can see. And you'll see it especially from the end zone view, right? Okay, so if our boy comes up right here and excuse me here with my pen, comes up and attacks this gap. Eichenberg does. He attacks right here, stuffs the fullback, right? If he doesn't scrape over here, doesn't do that, but stays in his gap, right? And we talked about it being gap sound, gap responsibility, being responsible for your gap, doing your job, right? If he does his job, right, I want you guys to watch, and I'm gonna slowly move it forward so you guys can see. Okay, this is gonna be a start-stop sequence. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, let's say we'll go forward a little bit that we do our job. Okay, let's say that Steele's Chambers stays in his gap, just bam, stays right here. Where's Blake Corum supposed to go with this play? If anybody's in the chat, you can tell me. There's no one. Every gap is now controlled. Gap here, controlled. Gap here, controlled. Gap here, controlled. Gap controlled. Right? Controlled. 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 Maybe he can bounce out here. Really? Eichenberg's got this gap. He's got this gap. There's nowhere for Corum to go. But Chambers jumps over. And because Corum has enough patience, he's able to, because of his little jump cut back, over and back, he influences the linebacker, and Styles is unable to come up and make the tackle. So we'll run that again at full speed. I know I kind of was starting, but I wanted you guys to see exactly what it was looking like from the end zone view. Okay? Kind of how coaches talk about it and go through it for you guys. Okay? Press up. All it takes is one little mistake like that, guys. All it takes is that, right? Let's go right here again. We've got everybody going through. Step up. Press. Just stay in your gap. Trust your teammates are doing their job, okay? When I coached, that was one of the things that we typically would say. Trust your teammates. Trust that your teammates are going to do their job. Okay? Trust that they're going to do their job. All right? Chambers jumped over, and unfortunately, because he did, he opened up just enough of a gap, and Styles wasn't able to come up quick enough that it led to a touchdown for Blake Corum from 22 yards out. Okay? We're going to go to this play, and this is a hell of a play by the safety, right? We've got our boy right here. And I want you to notice, okay, this isn't a bad decision by McCord, especially against a too high safety look. Realistically, you getting what you want by the receiver out here, by Egbuka. I believe I pronounced it correctly, Egbuka. Let me make sure I'm saying it right. But he is staying wide, okay? He's the receiver that's supposed to be staying outside. And what you're going to have is your tight end is influencing the inside, right? You want to influence and try and influence the safety if the safety steps down, throw out here. If the safety just kind of stays where he is, you could throw it to the outside. You want to stay outside the hash if you're the receiver here, like Egbuka is. But the ball floats, as mentioned by Joel Klatt. The ball floats. The ball should already kind of be coming on its way, and it should be coming on a rope. Because it's floating, it's allowing the safety a chance to get over. Okay, this is going to have to be on a rope. You're basically throwing in between the safety and the backers. Okay, so he's clearing. The ball should already be coming on its way right now. You should be hitting him in here. You want the ball to be hitting right in here. That allows enough time for Egbuka to avoid the safety, make the catch, and get upfield. Okay? But because it's a float, it's a hit, it's a clean hit, right? And that is just, it's so good by our safety right there, Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson. I don't know why I said Quentin. Right? He's going to drop. Look how wide Egbuka is. He should be able to get this ball in there. Like I said, that's why you're throwing it on a rope. Because of it, if the ball's thrown on a rope, no chance for Johnson to get over there. But because it's floated and he doesn't lead with his head, that's why you get what you get. Okay? So now let's go to the next play that I wanted to talk about. These are all plays that I think really influence the game. And when you have a game of very much a game of players and teams that are pretty even, it comes down to specific plays like this, and that's why we are talking about it. So we're going to get the toss pass here. You have to have set it up, right? It has to be on the film. We're going to get a cell right here of down. Oh, my goodness. How did that become so big? We're going to get a cell of a down block with a pulling around, okay? And because he's selling it, he's then going to break to the outside, and that's how the play's going to occur, right? That's Loveland who's going to be the one running this. Notice come down, sell that, and now, gotcha. Styles has to recover on him, and it's a big play, okay? This will lead to a field goal. This is the play that leads to a field goal for Michigan. So let's go back. Right? Take a look. Get the toss. Remember, I messed up. We have both tight ends selling that they're down blocking. We're pulling around. Okay? Loveland's going to sell. He's going to touch the corner. But notice everybody stays down the line for Michigan. Okay, no one goes downfield. Everybody stays down the line, and it leads to a big play for Michigan. And again, this leads to a score, right? 3 points for Michigan. And this is what the run can do. It can set up these types of plays. Overall, I think Ohio State's defense did fairly good holding up against the run. But again, as I mentioned, just little mistakes from time to time can cost you, right? So we're going to get the down. Okay, we got our fullback, right tackle pulling, selling that This is what we're doing. And it's so good. Okay. And then finally, we've got one of our final Michigan offensive plays that we're going to go over. And this one's going to hurt, right? It's 2 minutes left, 1st and 10. You've got to at least get a negative play out of this if you are Ohio State. You've got 3 timeouts. You've still got them kind of on that edge of field goal range. And once again, one of the issues that I see is players get really excited sometimes, especially in these moments, of we're going to have Blake Corum who is going to run as though he's coming downfield inside. And so our defensive safety right here, he's going to come inside of the receiver who's just going to wash him down. Okay, just push him down. And when he does, Blake Corum cuts back enough, bounces it, and then is going to break out to the outside. And when he does, he has enough smarts to stay in bounds to then get a 1st down. And now if you're Ohio State, you have to start using your timeouts because you're trying to keep Michigan out. So we're going to get inside. Notice, okay, now we'll break to the outside. So you had them, and let's go back a little bit, okay? You have them at the 39. Now they're going to get down to the 27. So puts them in field goal range. So again, we're going to run it. And notice he breaks. He's down to about the 25, so about a 14-yard gain. And that's the problem right there, guys. That is the problem, right? Do your job. Keep outside leverage. Our safety, number 6, Styles, comes inside, giving up the outside leverage. Now, either he or Burke, somebody has got to keep outside leverage. So if it's Burke has to, when he sees run, come down harder than he does. He doesn't. He's backpedaling. We lose outside contain. Corum's able just to bounce it outside and get a good gain. And that leads to another field goal. So now if you're Ohio State, if you had stuffed it there, let's say that you had used up your timeouts and stopped them and they had to punt it, at least you were just going for a field goal, right? So here you would see that, it's different. It's different for your play calls. This affects the play calls, guys, at the end of the game. So at the end of the game here, we have this being affected, right? And so I want you to notice the blitz that comes, because the blitz that comes knocks the living snot out of the lineman and is the one that gets in McCord's face for the interception. Oh, it's a line stunt. Excuse me. I don't know why I thought the blacker was blitzing. I was looking at a different play. Okay. Line stunt here, comes inside, knocks him, knocks down, and we get a nice through, bang. And because he's got to throw it so soon, interception, and that's the game, right? But the reason I wanted to focus on these few plays is because you can see they're setting up for scores. Either they're just breakdowns that affect Ohio State's defense, right? We get the big outside run that leads to a field goal. Now Ryan Day, even though they get the ball back, now you've got to rush. You have no timeouts. Instead of having to get just into field goal range, you've got to get a touchdown to win the game. You could be instead going for a field goal to tie it. It's those kinds of things that can occur. And when I watched the game, these were 2 pretty evenly matched teams, and you saw that. They kept banging. That's why it was tied for a while, but just little mistakes were made by Ohio State's defense. You could say also their offense, right? Even though we showed at the beginning of the breakdown, Marvin Harrison Jr., not a great route being run by him. So that led to that interception. Here, we just don't do a good job passing off on the line stunt. And because of it, we're gonna get our quarterback hit as he's throwing the ball. Right? I mean, this is just not even good communication, nothing. And it just leads to a knockdown of the lineman. And because of it, Kyle McCord can't step into the throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. Interception. And that's the game. Okay, that is the game, right? So hopefully that kind of explains a little bit to you guys so that you understand what it is that goes on in football. If anybody has any questions right now, I'll gladly listen and try to answer them. But this is kind of a quicker breakdown. I only wanted to spend about 30 minutes doing it. But these are the 10 plays that I think I really wanted to look at because, my goodness, they hurt. They're the kinds of plays that hurt, especially in a close game. Those are the difference makers, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I want to give a big shout out to all of our booster members, the ones that are supporting this channel. If you wish to have your name in the videos just like this, make sure to join at the link down below at the booster level or above to have your name in every video. On the end screen, there will be another recommended video. Most likely that will be a breakdown video. We'll see you next time. Have a great rest of the day.